Hi! Welcome back to Musicians Edition Practice with me. We're still working in the Rubank Elementary Method for flute or piccolo, and today we're on lesson 38, and we're only going to look at the Waltz Study today. Alright, so first let's take a look at our time signature. What time signature are we in? We are in 3/4 time. Tell me about our key signature. We're in the key of C. We have no sharps or flats. But looking ahead, you can also see that we have a lot of accidentals written in here. So it's not going to just be all naturals. So we have like F sharps in here. We have some E flats. And when you really look at the piece though, it's going from like G, F sharp, F natural, E natural. So it's going in like half steps. So this exercise is kind of working on like our chromatic scales is what it's going to do. So looking at the first measure, this is what it sounds like. Okay, so it's just moving down half steps. So let's break this out into sections so we don't feel overwhelmed. So let's look at measure 1 and 2. It's the same exact thing. And remember, it's in 3/4. So 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and. Okay? So let's just play measure 1 and 2. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Great. Now both of those are all slurred. The only time you're tonguing is when we hit the measure. Ta, ta. Right? Let's do it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, perfect. All right, let's take a look at the next measure. So now it's going to just start on F, and it's still working its way down chromatically. So F, E natural, E flat, and it has the same rhythm. So why don't we play just that one measure together? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, let's put measures 1, 2, and 3 all together now. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. I hope that doesn't feel too fast. Why don't we slow it down? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect, and then we're just ending with D on 3. Or 4, 3. Okay, so let's do measures 1 through 4. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So then looking at the following measure, it's the same thing as measure 3. And then the following measure is also the same thing as measure 3. So why don't we play that whole entire top line? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, so looking on to the next measure, it's E natural, E flat, D, D flat, and then ending on C. So still working down just the half steps. So why don't we play line 2 and then the first 2 measures of that. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect, and that's all slurred, just tonguing into that C. Okay? So now let's look at the following measure. So now it jumps around a little bit, but then there are certain spots where it's still half steps. So A, C, C sharp, and then D. Okay, and once again, that is basically all slurred, and we're going to repeat that. So let's do those 2 measures, okay? Starting on the A. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent job. Okay, so now looking at the following measure, it's to E, G, F sharp, F, and then ending on D. So let's just do those two measures there, starting on the E. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent job. So now let's put everything together. So let's start from the beginning and stop at the last measure of the second line. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, so I know that might feel a lot, and you might need to take some time to practice on your own. Also, if you practice your chromatic scales, that'll help tremendously. I believe we practiced the chromatic scale. It is, oh yeah, lesson 32. We worked on the chromatic scales, so make sure you keep practicing that because that's really going to help you with this piece. Okay, so now we have to move on. So looking at line 3, it's going to skip around a little bit more, but for these 4 measures of line 3, we don't have any of the accidentals. And we do have some tonguing action there in that. Well, what measure is this actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 and 14, we do have tonguing, and we have staccatos on those 8th notes. So remember, keep it short, keep it light, tongue. All right, so let's do those 4 measures on line 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent job. All right, let's take a look at the following measure. So that measure is just like the ones we've played before in measure 3, and we're repeating that twice. Okay, so let's go ahead and play from the beginning to the last measure of the 3rd line. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. How about we take a moment to play that much with the metronome? I think that will really help us with the rhythm if you're having problems with that. It's also just good to work on. So let me grab my metronome here. And this can help us increase our speed too. I'm assuming this piece goes fast. It doesn't state. So let's start this piece at 75 beats per minute, and I need to change my metronome to 3, because remember we're in 3/4, so we have to change our metronomes to that. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So remember, if you're still struggling even with that, take your own metronome, slow it down. If you're struggling with the accidentals, just remember to take time. You can play it note by note. And then work on the actual rhythms. Take it slow, speed it up as you get it. That's how you're gonna get there. Sometimes you just have to slow things down a bit. So if you're not getting it at the pace we're doing, that's okay. Just take some time on your own. The first two measures of the fourth line is the same thing from the first two measures in the second line. Alrighty. And then the following measures start on D, and it still works its way down. And then it repeats. Still with the same kind of rhythm. So let's just play those two measures on D. So it's fourth line, third measure of the fourth line. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And then it's just onto our quarter notes. And then our dotted half note. Okay, so let's just play from the beginning to the end of that G there on the fourth line. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent job. All right, so we're getting there to the end. You got this. All right, so now we're starting on the A, and it's going to work its way up this time. And then it's going to repeat. So let's do those two measures. So it's the last measure of the fourth line and the first measure of the fifth line. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And then it's going to start on E, and then basically act like we're going back down. So the fingering should still feel fairly close to what we had in the beginning. We're just starting on the E instead of the G. So let's just play that measure, those two measures real quick. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent job. Now I know these next two measures may look a little scary with the accidentals, but it's just the chromatic scale down. You're going to play low G, mid G, so the octave, and then work our way down. And that part is all tongued. So once again, you might need to work on your chromatic scales a little bit more, and you can always slow this down and take it finger by finger. But let's try it a little closer to what we were doing. It's still on the slow side, and we're going to work our way a little faster once we get it. All right, so let's just do those two measures, three measures. We'll stop at that A flat. Okay, we're ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent. And remember that A flat is for one beat, it's a quarter note. We're going to rest and then. And that's how we're going to end it. So let's do beginning to end slowly. And then we'll bring in the metronome so we can really work on our rhythm and work on our tempo. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent job. I hope you got that. There is one area that I keep forgetting, which is coming back from, so like the second line, first measure, for example. I want to play E flat there, but it's E natural, so I'm going to mark that in as E natural. If you're making the same mistakes, make sure you just take your pencil and write it in. It's not cheating to write in things like that. Okay, so now let's play with the metronome so we can work a little stricter on rhythm and tempo. So let's do beginning to end once again on 75. Okay, ready? And I'm gonna actually raise my stand here. It is a little low for my liking. There we go. That's better. I won't be looking down so much. And remember, you also want to pay attention to your stand height because looking down can constrict your air. All right, so 75 beats per minute. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent job. So if you struggled with the tempo on that one, make sure you take time, slow it down on your metronome. If you did good and you're ready to move forward, let's do so. Like I said, I feel like this is supposed to be kind of a faster tempoed one. And if not, it never hurts to play them fast anyway. All right, so let's pick up the speed here. Oop, I'm changing the wrong thing. Okay, so let's try it at 80 now, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Excellent job. Let's try even faster. Let's take it to 85. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent job. All right. Hopefully you're still holding in. If so, let's take it even faster. Let's take it to 90. All right, ready? And this will be our last one. And if you want to continue taking it faster, by all means, take your metronome and play as fast as you can. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent job. All right, so this is, in my opinion, a really fun piece, but it just might need to be one that takes a little work. So just take some time, practice it, work on your chromatic scales. You're gonna get it. I know it. All right, thanks for joining, and until next time.